Welcome to the Couch Scouts podcast. We provide league-winning analysis, advice, and tools to help you dominate your league and build a dynasty. Scout, draft, win. Here's your host, Matt Cooper.
Welcome to the Couch Scouts podcast. I am your host, Matt Cooper. With me, as always, is my co-host, Matt Rupert.
How you doing, my man?
And Matt Jackson.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome back, Matt Jackson. All settled into your new place after the move.
Officially moved in. You guys like my whitewashed or cream washed wall back behind me? I don't have all that crap in the background now.
Yeah, you're in an office instead of like in the middle of a kitchen or something. It's great. I'm happy for you.
We're moving up in the world.
Well, I know how tedious it is to have to like set up and tear down your stuff every week. So having a space that you get to keep it in is chef's kiss. So good. I'm happy for you, man. I hope the new move and the new job and all that is just a huge blessing and a great fit for you and your family.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to I meet the students, or not meet them, but I go to see them again tomorrow night. So it's gonna be a fun time getting back into the fold of things, and all sorts of fun stuff. But I'm excited to be back talking football with you guys because I have certainly missed it in the wake of all this packing and unpacking nonsense that we've been doing.
You know, what would have been funny is if Jesus came back and we all got raptured and you got like one day into your new job and like, well, I guess I just moved for nothing.
Did you guys see all the pictures and stuff people were posting, like leaving like unworn clothes and shoes all over the place?
No, I'm not on social media. I actually didn't. When you texted earlier on our group chat and say, hey guys, are we podcasting tonight if the rapture happens? I had to look up like, why is he saying that? Because I'm not on social media, so I missed all the trends that people were like predicting that it was going to happen. Which, you know, by the way, people, the Bible's pretty clear. We're not going to know the day or the hour, so maybe we should stop trying to figure it out. But we're not here to talk theology. We are here to talk football, and hopefully the rapture didn't happen, because if it did, we missed it. But here we are. We're talking fantasy football, and I'm excited to get into it. So we are going to be reacting to week 3. And we have a lot to talk about. You know, again, this is early season, so there's just so much new information coming at us. Things will settle and we'll get to a point where rankings aren't like wildly flying up and down every single week. But for right now, we're still in a season where between injuries and like, you know, trying to figure out what's going on with all these rookies and so many other things, like there's just a lot to react to every week. So both the main show and the bonus show, we're just going to be getting into a bunch of different topics from week 3. So we're going to be talking a lot of time about running backs today, especially given how some of the rookies did breaking out this week at the running back position. Injuries sustained by some big names like James Conner, Najee Harris. We'll get into the tight end position, talking Jake Ferguson and his crazy explosion here early in the season. And just excited to get into all of it here. So we'll start. I mentioned the rookie running backs, so we'll start there. We had 3 rookie breakout performances. Omarion Hampton, Cam Skattebo, our guy, Cam Skattebo, and Quinshon Judkins all looked really good, all saw a ton of volume, big fantasy performances. So what can fantasy managers take away from this? Is this like just because of workload? Did they look good? Did you guys get eyes on them this weekend? So let's get in and talk about these 3 rookie running backs. Rupert, I'll start with you.
Frankly, I thought all 3 of them looked really good, and the added opportunity there for Skattebo and Hampton, you know, just looks like they're going to be workhorses going down the stretch here. And Skattebo looks exactly like I think we all 3 thought he would look like, just absolute bowling ball. He has enough juice to be able to explode through the hole, which it seems like a lot of people didn't believe that he had that. And then, Hampton with that offense, high-powered offense, they're going to run the ball, even though they haven't run as much the first couple of weeks as I think most people expected them to. With Najee, unfortunately, going down, I think he's just going to be the benefactor and getting a lot more shares there. And I just want to come out and say on Judkins, apparently I was very wrong. A little too worried about him missing pretty much the entire offseason with the off the field issues. Um, and he was a guy that I liked his tape. And frankly, like I feel like he's looked like he has a little more juice in the NFL than I was expecting.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be adjusting my rankings accordingly. I think he's looked better than I didn't think he was bad. I just thought he was going to be more workload dependent, and it looks like he's going to be a guy that's going to just earn more of a workload.
I mean, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned here, right? I think the most important lesson is how quick are we as a dynasty community to like panic when these guys don't burst on the scene and explode week one. Like I saw so many people talking like, well, is it time to sell Lamar at Hampton? Like, is Kim Scatabo not the guy? Like, these were all conversations that were happening live on like Twitter. They were conversations that were happening in our Discord, and like, it's such a reminder just to be patient on guys that are talented, right? Like, yes, these guys are a benefactor of some injuries, and that's why they came in and did what they did. But let's not forget that these guys were really good players coming into the NFL, right?
Mhm.
So like, I'm not surprised that they're doing what they're doing. I'm not surprised that Scatabo blew up because he's exactly who we thought he was on film. I'm not surprised that Amari Hampton went out there and caught passes and was a dynamic force after the catch between the tackles because that's who he was, right? So like,
Yep.
I'm not as surprised as I think a lot of people are in the community, just because these guys were good to begin with. Now they're just getting the opportunity to show it.
Yeah, so obviously, we never want to we're not celebrating injury. It sucks what happened for Tyrone Tracy and for Najee Harris. Um, but that opened the door for Hampton and Scattaboo to show what they can do. And, yeah, don't get it twisted. This isn't just opportunity. It's opportunity plus talent. These guys are really good young prospects. And I think you can start these guys with confidence moving forward. And honestly, I don't think they're giving these jobs back. Like, obviously Najee's out for the whole year, so for sure that's Hampton's job uh long term. But even with Scattaboo being a day 3 pick and Tracy goes out and he's only gonna miss 3 or 4 weeks. And so at some point Tracy's gonna come back and maybe be involved a little bit, but Scattaboo just is better than him. I'm sorry. We saw it on tape, on his college tape. We said it throughout the offseason. We're like, he's going to beat out Tyrone Tracy. It took a little longer than we thought because he was hurt throughout training camp and preseason. And so like it's hard for a day 3 rookie to come in and earn a starting job when you're not healthy during the camp battle, right? But it took all of 3 weeks for him to come in here. And even before the injury, like he played about 50% of the snaps, maybe a little over 50% of the snaps in week 2, was way more involved than he was week 1. And then there were reports coming out in week 3 that they wanted to get him even more involved. And so even before Tracy got hurt, like Cam Scatterby was seeing more touches. And I think this was going to happen whether Tracy got hurt or not. Just Tracy getting hurt kind of cemented it because then almost every touch went to Scattaboo, and he, with that much volume, he puts up this monster game, and now cat's out of the bag. Like there's no buy low on Cam Scattaboo. Um, but yeah, Judkins, out of the 3 guys we're talking about here, Judkins only played 55% of the snaps. Jerome Ford was still weirdly like Cleveland just is determined to try to make Jerome Ford a thing. Samson played like 6% snaps, so
Such a bummer.
yeah, which is a
Such a
bummer.
bummer.
But yeah, this is crazy though. 20 touch opportunities, so 18 carries, 2 targets for Judkins on 36 snaps. That's like almost unheard of. It's like more than half the snaps that he was out there on the field, they gave him the ball, which is kind of crazy. And so I don't know if there will be more volatility where there will be weeks in this committee where Judkins doesn't get as many touches. But so he might be a little more volatile than Hampton and Scattaboo week to week, but still, good asset both short and long term. So yeah, excited about all 3 of these rookies. So let's move on. We talked about them last week, obviously reacting to the Joe Burrow injury, but let's revisit the Bengals. Is it full-blown panic time for Chase Brown? Brown had only 0.9 yards before contact per attempt, so O-line not doing him a lot of favors. Brown is averaging only 2 yards per carry, and he, Chuba Hubbard, and Jalen Warren are the only running backs who have 35-plus carries and only one run of 10-plus yards. So you could call that a jag stat if you wanted to. I might take a little offense to it because I love Chuba Hubbard, but it kind of feels like a jag stat. Like you're getting a bunch of touches, but you're just not making explosive plays out of it. So I'll throw it to you first this time, Jackson. What are your thoughts here on Chase Brown? Is it time to panic?
I mean, we're not, we've never been Chase Brown fans. I think that's been made pretty clear from some of the offseason podcasts that we did. I watched the Bengals last week when they play, or this last week whenever they played the Vikings, and that offense without Joe Burrow was just abysmal. Like it didn't look good at all. And Chase Brown has never been the type of guy that I think is going to be a league winner or somebody that can go out there and you can start and feel like super confident about it. And I mean, we see the stats right now. We're kind of backing that up. I mean, 0.9 yards before contact. I mean, he's only averaging 2 yards per carry. Like that's not good already. And the offense, I think, is going to take a step back throughout the coming weeks. That they've already shown that in last week's film. I mean, the Vikings defense, I don't know if any of you are playing in leagues where you start defenses. I currently am right now. I played against my wife who started the Minnesota Vikings defense and dropped 35 points on me. So I'm very much aware of how abysmal that Bengals defense was. But I don't know. I've never been a Chase Brown fan. I think he's been somebody that's kind of been on the bubble since he got there. And there's not really somebody they've drafted to cause panic yet, but I think we can look at maybe next year or the year after. That could be the year that he might even get replaced. That's the battle we're always talking about. So for me, if I can sell him for anything right now, like that's what I'm looking to do, honestly, because he's just not somebody that I feel comfortable having on my roster at all.
I'm in agreement there. I don't think he's looked bad, but just like the offensive line just looked like garbage all year, and I feel like there's definitely egg on my face after saying, Jake Browning will, still produce for the Bengals without Burrow there, and that definitely did not happen last week at all. But I don't see the O-line situation getting better, and without having Burrow, it hurts Brown the most. So I think whatever you can get, if you're a contender, he's not going to be very useful this year. And then if you're rebuilding as well, I don't think he's going to be a long-term asset you want to keep. So I think he's an absolute sell.
Yeah, I have never been a Chase Brown guy. I think he's a jag, and his value, in my opinion, has been solely tied to the high-powered Bengals offense, which isn't so high-powered right now without Joe Burrow. So yeah, he's going to continue to have it rough this season, and so we're unanimous on that. I don't have a lot of conviction on him long term either. So yeah, I'd be very worried if I had Chase Brown shares, which I don't. I actually tried to acquire one in a league a couple weeks ago because I was really running back needy, and I forget exactly what I offered. It was a pretty decent offer for Chase Brown, like more than I would usually. And of course, the guy who drafted him believes in him more than I do. It was like, hey, he's a solid RB1, I think, with upside for years to come. And so he said we weren't close on the offer that I sent. And so I said, that's fine. And boy, I'm glad he turned me down now. But yeah, I mean, we spent all offseason preaching that he and Chuba should not be going 20+ picks apart in startups, and that we would rather have Chuba, who to us looks like a better player on the eye test, and he's the same age and already has that second contract locked up. And not to take like an early victory lap, but that take is looking pretty good right now. Like Chuba Hubbard, at the very least, belongs in the same tier as Chase Brown, if not higher. So, yeah, hopefully you took our advice this offseason and sold Chase Brown for maybe Chuba Hubbard plus. But Yeah, I would be very concerned if you've got him. So let's get into our next topic here. Calvin Ridley had 1 catch on 7 targets in the Titans' loss to the Colts. And in turn, Alec Aomanor now leads the Titans in receptions and receiving touchdowns, while only trailing Ridley by 4 receiving yards. So essentially, Aomanor, at least through 3 weeks, is leading the Titans in wide receiver play. Are we going to see a shift here to where Aomanor is the guy that the Titans offense is running through? Is this a string of bad luck? Has Ridley lost a step at age 30? What's going on with the drops? Like, he's been credited with a bunch of drops. So yeah, he's among the league leaders in drops so far. I'll throw it to you first, Rupert. I know you live there in Tennessee, and you watch the Titans probably more than either of us do. So tell me what you think about this.
Really rough and disappointing start for Ridley, for a guy that's going to be 31 soon. Not what you want to see if you're a contender holding on to him, and if you happen to be rebuilding, like, you're not going to get as much value for him right now. Um, he's always kind of struggled with concentration drops throughout his career, and he's always been able to kind of turn around and still produce. But I don't think he looks bad, like, otherwise. It's just that offense and coaching staff is just not it, in my opinion. So I don't know, like, if they're going to have a change of coordinator to kind of give them a spark, or what's going to have to happen. But definitely a disappointing start. And I'll go ahead and just take the L on Aomanor. I watched some of his tape, and yeah, I mean, I was wrong on him, just to be completely frank. And admittedly, I watched him and graded him right after watching Travis Hunter, and I watched his Clemson game first, and that tape was awful and definitely shaped my view of him. But in the NFL, he's looked really good, finding soft spots in the zone, and then even on isolation routes on the outside, he's been able to win on the sideline. We've seen some, like, one-handed catches from him, some, like, back shoulder throws. Sometimes he's been high pointing the ball, so it's definitely shown a lot more than what I saw on the 5 games I watched in college. And yeah, definitely going to be adjusting my rankings on him.
Yeah, I'm going to take the L2 on Calvin Ridley, at least as of right now. He was somebody that all offseason I was kind of preaching that if you were a contender, I thought that he was a great buy, right? Because if you look at that Titans depth chart, there's nobody really on, or there was nobody really on that depth chart that I was really scared of taking away targets from Ridley. And Ridley is still getting the targets. So I'm not full blown panic right now, but the drops are an issue. Like, the drops are something that I'm worried about. And right now, like, Aomanor is just making more of the opportunity than Ridley is. And like, I haven't watched his NFL film right now. He wasn't somebody that I was high on at all. I know me and Rupert got on the podcast when we were doing his rookie breakdown and just eviscerated him. But it looks like Rupert said, that might be an L on our take. He looks like he's much better in the NFL, and those things can happen, right? I mean, there's guys that don't have the college tape. Their college tape looks awful, and they come into the NFL and something changes, right? They get better. Like, that's not unheard of, but right now it looks like Aomanor is the guy to own in that offense. Where you thought it might be Ridley, he's making more of the opportunity. And at the end of the day, in fantasy, that's what matters.
Yeah, so for me, one, I'll say I wasn't on that podcast where you guys eviscerated him. And when I came back and looked at the tape after I got back in town, I was like, I didn't hate it. Like, you know, I actually think I asked both of you guys to take another look at the tape, but I that's not to say that I, like, was super high on him, or anything like that, because I still had a relatively low grade on him. But I will say this: I was the highest of the three of us, and when I look at my individual attribute grades in our film sheet, like, I had a 7 for release and an 8 for route running, with really good scores for catch radius, body control, physicality. I had some pretty good individual grades on him. He was mid to low end on athleticism for me and on Yak. And then the hands, like this is what really brought his overall grade down. Obviously, we have weighted scoring, and hands for a wide receiver is kind of a big deal, right? So we have a high weight on the hands attribute, and he got a 4 out of 10 for me on that because he just had a lot of drops on the film that I watched. So far, that hasn't looked like an issue at the NFL level. And so when you break it down like that, you're like, okay, you could see how like a guy at his size that also had an 8 for route running and a 7 for release, like there's some things to work with there where if he cleaned up the drops, like there was a path. Um, I think in some ways we were right to not be quite as high on him as some in the community because he did end up being a day 3 pick and his production profile was pretty meh too, and all of that. And that's not to like to defend ourselves, but here we are, and I haven't watched the Titans all 22 yet. I have watched a little bit live. He's made some nice catches on the boundary, showed some really good ball skills, but I haven't really had a chance to get in there and like see his route running. So, yeah, clearly he's getting an opportunity and he's doing some nice things with it. So I want to get in and look at the all 22 tape, look closely at the tape to determine if I think he's a sell high as a like mid day 3 wide receiver on a bad team with nobody else for Ward to throw the ball to that maybe is going to get replaced next year. Or if this is a guy that we just were too low on and he's a legit rookie breakout. So I'm still like, I'm gonna reserve my final judgment until I actually get in there and watch the all 22 there with the Titans. But definitely encouraging signs. I have one share on one roster, and where I have that one share, I'm pretty excited to have him. It feels like found money because I really wasn't expecting much of anything from him. And as for Ridley, he definitely has a drops issue this year. And when you're old, you're being rostered to produce in Dynasty. And one catch isn't getting it done. Right. So 7 targets is nice. In that sense, you could kind of make an argument of a buy low. Like maybe he and Cam Ward get some better chemistry going throughout the season. And clearly he's playing a ton of snaps and he's earning targets but right now, I'm not playing him in my lineups until I see it. Like I'm viewing him as a bye week filler right now only who could get you some points in a pinch, and that's it. And I'm viewing him as very little dynasty value right now because when you talk about being 30 going on 31 and also not producing, that's a bad combo for dynasty. So if I was gonna go try to buy, it would be for like real cheap, like throw out, I don't know, like some bad rookie that I just don't believe in that maybe somebody else still has some hope in, like Caleb Johnson. If I had any Caleb Johnson shares, I don't know. But even then, I keep Caleb Johnson honestly over Calvin Ridley at his age and not producing. So I don't know. I wouldn't. I say he might be a buy low, but I really wouldn't send much of anything for him. So all
It'd be
right,
a big
well.
gamble.
It would. It would. I mostly just I said that to throw shade at Caleb Johnson, but I wouldn't actually make that trade. I wouldn't do it. We're going to take a quick break, and I want to let you guys know about the great resources we have available for you at CouchScouts.com. We have a bonus show that we record every week just for members, where we get into some more a little deeper into some topics that we don't have time to get to on the main show and stuff that I think is really valuable for fantasy managers. Like, tonight we're going to be talking about Ted McMillan's dynasty value, what to do with DK Metcalf's hot start, Jonathan Taylor, Travion Henderson, a bunch of other things only for our subscribers. So you can also book a one-on-one consultation with us and get 30 minutes with one of the 3 of us to go over a dynasty roster of your choosing and help you develop a personalized strategy. We've gotten really good feedback on that from our customers. And of course, we have an all 22 film room. And soon we're going to be adding dynasty rankings. Of course, when rookie season comes around, we're going to crank out another really great rookie guide for you guys. And we've got other things in the works too that we're not quite ready to announce publicly yet, but I promise really at this point we're reinvesting almost everything that we get from our memberships back into making the product better for you guys. So definitely join CouchScouts.com today for as little as $50 for a year, which comes out to less than $5 a month. So really less, than a cup of coffee a month will get you, I think, some really great Dynasty tools. So definitely check it out, CouchScouts.com, and we hope you'll consider joining the family. So with all that being said, let's get into the second half of the show here, fellas. And our next topic is the Falcons. Should we be worried about the Falcons? Bijan Robinson looks like he can weather the storm, but Michael Penix, Drake London, and Darnell Mooney have not been helpful for fantasy. Fun fact, Michael Penix has seen his completion rate and yards per completion worsen after every game this year. He's trending the wrong direction. He's also thrown just 1 touchdown versus 2 interceptions. So, yeah, I'll throw it to you first, Rupert. What are your thoughts here on the Falcons and on Michael Penix?
Definitely be worried if you're the Falcons. Only guy I feel comfortable with is Bijan. I have some Drake London shares, and I'm pretty terrified, to be honest. It definitely looks like the NFL is kind of caught up to Michael Penix after getting some game tapes at the end of the year last year. And basically, like, our concerns with him is exactly what we're seeing right now. The Panthers, surprisingly, were able to pressure him early and constantly, and he was just rattled the entire game. Even when he had time, he would throw it at the receiver's feet where they'd only have an opportunity to make a play. So like he's a guy that I think has to have like a really nice clean pocket to be able to operate, and needs to really throw with a lot of anticipation. And he's just not producing that way right now. So I'm frankly glad I don't have any shares at the moment.
Yeah.
I have 1 share, and it is absolutely infuriating to have that share. Well, first off, by the way, congrats on you guys' win. I don't think I told you guys that yet, but you destroyed the Falcons.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes, we did. Yes, Rupert and I played
everything that
a big
Rupert
role
said.
in the win.
Everything that Rupert said, though, like that was our concern, right? Like Michael Penix was always somebody that if you pressured him at all, he kind of folded under the pressure. And that's what we've seen happen to him in the NFL. He is not a runner of the football at all. So you're getting little to no fantasy points and that aspect at all. So you need him to be a dynamic passer of the football. And he's just not. So like if I'm as a Michael Penix owner, like he's somebody that like I wish I could sell, but I don't know if anybody wants to buy him right now. So like I'm just kind of stuck with him.
They do not. I can confirm.
I'm just kind of stuck with him on my roster with nothing to do, and that's affecting everybody. That's affecting Drake London. Kyle Pitts is somehow catching some balls, so that's I guess a little bit of an upside, but he's still not who we thought he was. The only guy that's kind of weathered it, like Rupert said, is Bijan. So I think he'll be fine. I think the offense is going to run through him, but yeah, no, Michael Penix looks awful, and I don't see it getting better anytime soon.
You know why Bijan's doing all right is because the only pass Michael Penix can complete is the check down. So, no, it's bad when the Panthers embarrass you. And I say that as a Panthers fan. Like, I get so used to just like turning on the TV on a Sunday afternoon, and by halftime, I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. And this time, like at halftime, we were up 10-0. I'm like, okay. And then my family had plans that afternoon. And so I'm like out and I'm checking my phone and I'm like, what? Like they're 30-0 and this is the 1 week I'm not watching. But yeah, like I don't know. I've been fading Penix and I've been vocal about that here on the show all off season. He needs to be a really high level passer because he's not a rushing threat whatsoever. And right now he just looks like QB3 at best. He was being drafted at high end QB2 prices all summer. So Jackson, if you didn't sell that 1 share, you have nobody to blame but yourself. We told you to do it all summer long.
It's my fault. I understand that.
That being said, I had hoped that he would at least be good enough to support Drake London. So I'm definitely hoping for that to turn around soon. But Yeah, this was arguably the worst defense in the NFL, and they put up a whopping 0. So it's not looking too good. And the Falcons defense actually looks pretty good, at least definitely against the Vikings. They looked incredible. Um, so they've got weapons all around Penix. They've got a nice defense, and they're still not performing. So
Here's the
yeah,
point that I'm at. This is how bad it is, right? I've currently got Penix and the one share that I have in my super flex spot. And I'm sitting there going, you know what? Surely somebody can give me more production in my super flex spot than Michael Penix. So, like, if you're talking like you don't even want to start him in a super flex when you can start two quarterbacks, like that's when you know it's not good.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm interested to see if we're going to see Kirk Cousins if this continues because, he's now a year removed from that Achilles injury. He might be healthier than he was last year. And like I said, all the other pieces are in place for this team. So if Penix is just not getting it done, I wonder if at some point they run Kirk back out there and see what he can do. Be interesting to see because Kirk Cousins also looked pretty darn washed last year, but again, he's had a little bit more time to get his body right. So yeah, curious to see where that'll go. So next topic, in the wake of the James Conner injury, who should fantasy managers be looking to buy, assuming they don't already have Trey Benson? Jackson?
Somebody that I think would be super cheap. I know both of you guys have this listed, but I'm gonna steal one of them. I just as somebody that owns Javonte Williams, right? Like all offseason, Javonte Williams was one of those guys that like you could get at the back end of your drafts, but he was the starting running back for Dallas. So I always thought that was pretty confusing to me. And right now he's getting the touchdown work. He looks good between the tackles. Like he's somebody that you could get relatively cheap, that you could start with confidence. Right now, I'm still not sure that I'm in on Trey Benson. We haven't seen much for him. I don't think he's the one to buy in this scenario. I think you're looking at other cheap running backs. And for me, for the price that you can get Javonte Williams for right now, could you send out a second right now and get a running back and get Javonte Williams? I think you probably could. And I think if you're on a contending team, that's an easy smash accept for you.
Yeah, I like that. Like you said, I had that listed on the show sheet as well to call that out. I think to me, Javante looks pretty good. Like I know he's kind of been a little touchdown dependent, but he's breaking tackles out there. He looks like a capable running back, and I think that offense is going to continue to score points, and he's going to continue to get touches and have red zone opportunities. So yeah, I trust Javante to be a solid RB2 the rest of the season that can be had for a pretty reasonable price. So yeah, that's a good call out for a cheap buy if you're trying to scramble in the wake of the Connor injury. What about you, Rupert? You got anybody?
Yeah, I think someone you could get even cheaper is Jordan Mason with the Vikings with um, Aaron Jones going on IR. And with that hamstring injury, older running back, like even if he comes back in 4 weeks, is it going to be a full strength? Could he re-injure it? Like I think it has potential to kind of be the bell cow for the Vikings going forward for the rest of this year. And I think people view him as just a 1 year rental. So I think you could get him for fairly cheap.
Yeah, for sure. It's not a sexy name at all, and for good reason. I mean, he is a Jag, but like we've seen him produce with big volume before when McCaffrey went out. So, yeah, he seems like he's definitely going to get that volume. A couple of other guys I would call out that would be one is a little bit more expensive, but we've talked about is Chuba Hubbard. The volume is definitely there for him, and I, I still think he's a better player than he's given credit for. He's locked into a long-term contract. People might think that you're getting like just a contender buy, but you might actually get a good 2 to 3 year window out of Chuba Hubbard here. And then, probably more of a 1 year rental on this one, but J.K. Dobbins. Just continues to get it done. Looks good to me. Like I said in the Discord during game day this week, I said I don't know who needs to hear this, but J.K. Dobbins is not washed. He's out there breaking tackles, making plays, finding the right lane, having the burst to hit it. Like, he does not look washed up, and I don't think he's given that role. Like, if there's anybody out there that's still thinking like, oh, it's only a matter of time before he gets benched and Harvey takes over, I don't think that's the case. I think J.K. Dobbins continues to be the lead running back for them all year long. So yeah, I it's a little risky sending a 2 for J.K. Dobbins because Harvey's sitting there in the wings and because he probably is a 1-year guy. But you might not even have to send a second to get Dobbins. I mean, this guy was borderline drop bait over the offseason when he wasn't signed. And, could you send 2/3? Could you send, a third and somebody like, I don't know, just a small young player that somebody might still have some belief in. Like, can I send a third in Marshawn Lloyd or something? I don't know. But yeah, I think you can get Dobbins, especially if he's sitting on a team that's a non-contender. He should be an affordable buy. They should be motivated to move him while they can still get something for him. So, yeah, those are all good options. I think if you're looking to pick up some cheap running back production and you just lost James Conner. So, while we're on the subject of the Cardinals, we'll hit one more topic here, and maybe the other ones. I mentioned Jake Ferguson. And I do think that's an important one to get to. We still have a bunch of topics on the show sheet. We'll move some of those to the bonus show. So, join CouchScouts.com. But we're going to hit one more here on the main show before we wrap up, and that is Marvin Harrison Jr. Should we start worrying about Marvin Harrison Jr. and his drops issues? I'll throw it to you first, Rupert.
Frankly, I feel pretty upset with Marvin Harrison for getting off to a very slow start after I hyped him up all off season, saying people were like way too low on him after only having 800 plus yards and 8 touchdowns in his rookie year. And then he gets off to a slow start, and Roma Dunze, Neighbors, these other guys were looking, like much better picks than him. But I am still not concerned about him long term. I still believe the film. He still is getting open, and I think there's just a problem with that offensive scheme, which I said was my hesitation all offseason. But I think long term, he's still going to be a good asset, and I hope people are freaking out because maybe I can go scoop up a couple more shares.
Yeah, I definitely think he should be more acquirable than he's been at any point. I mean, the drops question, should be worrying about drop issues. Like, he's got 2 drops, guys. Like, I know they were ugly drops and they were, they look bad. But like, guys, I think was he a guy that we gave a 10 out of 10 for hands as a prospect? Like, I don't remember exactly, but I'm not worried about this. The drops.
The drops aren't going to be an issue.
Like he had 2 drops, and I get one was a touchdown, and the other, like, he was just wide open, and he definitely should have caught it. But like, I'm more concerned about the usage. He's not seeing the alpha target numbers that I think he should be seeing, even here in year 2, which is a little concerning. But like, he's going to be mad at himself for the drops. He's going to be on the jugs machine all week. By all accounts, his work ethic is pretty unparalleled. And even on one of those drops, like, I also saw him run a route that nobody his size has any business being able to run, and he got wide open in the end zone. And yes, he dropped it, but like, he's still a freak, man. So I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I'm not concerned at all, but I still would definitely consider buying if the manager is panicked.
I'm with you, Cooper. I can understand being concerned. I'm not concerned over the drops, though. What I am concerned about is the fact that Kyler Murray is averaging less than 200 passing yards a game right now. I'm concerned with the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't getting more than 6 targets a game, and you're supposed to be the wide receiver 1. Like, that's the concerning part to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the drop issue. It's not is Marvin Harrison bad? Like, that's not the issue here. It's they're not using him the way that I think they should be using him.
For sure. All right, guys. Well, like I said, we're going to move some of these other topics over to the bonus show for our members. This has been a fun one and still so much to talk about, but we appreciate y'all tuning in. If you haven't already, join our free community Discord. No strings attached to that. We just want to get to know the people that listen to our show. The link should be in the show notes. And yeah, jump in there, interact with us. We'd love to help answer your questions. And it's a really fun community. So do that. Leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a